Tour Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? The Tour Junkies are back. It is 2024. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year to Pat. It is the Sentry betting show. Are you ready, bud?
Hell yeah, I'm ready.
Dude,
You
got
think
a beer?
I'm not ready for the Sentry?
You got a beer and a floral unbuttoned shirt?
Look, I am letting it all hang out in 2024, DB, okay? I'm just letting it hang out. And you know what? Obviously, my New Year's resolution does not involve quitting beer.
Well,
So I figured, why not go ahead and have one right away? But I'm excited, DB. I feel more excited this season than ever before. And now there's some good reason for that. I think you'll probably get into that, but even more so, I'm excited for all that we are going to get to do, all that we're going to get to talk about, the moments that are going to be had on this show, DB, that have not been created yet. It's gonna be fantastic. And
there's like a little batch of moments, and they're flying around like little sperms, right?
Yeah,
and some, they're gonna couple I'm gonna crack through and break through, and then boom, a moment, is burst. But listen, that's hard to do. It's hard to be that excited going on 9 years. I'm not saying the relationship is fading, but I mean, it gets stale after 9 years, right? We've been looking at I had a heck of a night last night. That's why I'm wearing glasses, man. Honestly, I mean, it fit for Hawaii, but also, like, I don't want you to see the bags under my eyes right now. It's unbelievable.
You took it deep? You took it deep on New Year's Eve?
Well, yeah, and then I didn't sleep at all because I was a kid on Christmas, but not on Christmas. I went to sleep and I woke up, and as soon as my brain woke up at 2:30 in the morning, I could not stop thinking about the show and the year and all that's going on, and my mind just kept going, and I couldn't shut it down. And 4 hours later, I still wasn't asleep. So I'm running on fumes, but I'm pumped and I'm jacked about it. We've got a great show in store for you. We're going to be rolling out a brand new side of the Tour Junkies you've never seen before, and it might get graphic. I don't know. Pat could unbutton that shirt even more, or
there is one more button.
Maybe take it off.
Yeah.
We've got some new tools we're gonna unleash on the people today. We're obviously gonna get through our betting picks, our outright picks, our top 10 6-pack, since it's only a 59-man field, no cut event at the Sentry. At the end of this show, we're gonna do what we do every year. We're gonna review New Year's resolutions, Pat's New Year's resis, golf resis, and personal resis from last year, and then his new ones for 2024. And then mine, we're going to do at the end of the DFS show if you want to catch that. We've got some big announcements. So we've got a lot of updates to tell the people. So listen, one big announcement I know you're going to be happy about is every episode this year, we're going to have chapters in the YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, give it up for chapters.
Chapters.
Give it up for
chapters. Tell you what. So, I don't even know if I know what those are for sure, other than in a book that you read.
So no pissing and moaning, okay? We are going to have some good announcements you're going to want to listen to, but you do have chapters if you need to move on. But the reason one reason why we're going to have chapters, the reason why we're going to have chapters, and among many other things that we rolled out in the fall, is we've got a new weapon. His name is producer Tony. Our boy Tony La Barbara. That's what we like to call it. That's what Pat calls him on the side. He doesn't even know it, but that's how Pat says his name. Our boy Tony L, producer, is going to be on with us this whole season. Pumped to have him. Tony, step on up, man. Say hi to the people. There he is. Look at him. God dang.
Shoot off.
Tony was with us in the fall for a couple episodes. We did the Better Sports Network show with him in 2023. He's fantastic. He's a producer extraordinaire. He produced on Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio for a while, and he went from Carl and Dennis Paulson to these two ding dongs. So I don't know if that's an upgrade or a downgrade, but either way, we are happy to have Tony. He's going to make the show so much better all year.
Yeah, pumped to be back with you guys. Pumped for 2024. Appreciate you guys bringing me on and help out in any way I can. So excited for the year.
Man, it's going to be good. Tony is going to help us plan out the content every single week, and that's going to be important. You're going to hear more about that in my New Year's resolution section on the DFS show. So happy to have Tony on board. He's going to make the show better in a lot of different ways, Pat.
Yeah, 100%.
Every year we kind of give a sponsor update because things like that change around this time of year. They're going to keep changing. Definitely want to shout out our friends at Leaderboard for continuing to put out a badass app, and they've got the new version of the app. The paid version of the app is available right now. I think it's like $40 a year or something like that, Pat. But now it's got the Apple Watch integration. It's got penalty strokes, which is key for me. More detailed stats and analytics on the Leaderboard app, and it's just an incredible tool to use when you're on the golf course for yourself, keeping track of your stats. Obviously, we've also got the integration with the Discord that brings over every time you play around, so we can laugh at you and mock your scorecard. It's a great thing. Love the Leaderboard app. Appreciate them greatly. Also have our friends at SoBet, which we'll talk more about in a little bit. They're on board all year, and we've got a new one that we'll be announcing here in just a minute. But I will say this: if you or someone a business that needs to reach a bunch of golf-loving, 98% males, probably 99. Shout out to a few females we know and love. You know who you want. A mainly male audience in the U.S. between ages of 25 and 65 that love golf and love gambling on golf. If you got a business that would like to reach those people, we still need maybe one or two to get us where we want to be for the year, to be able to provide all the content that we want to provide when we want to provide it. So you can email us, info@tourjunkies.com, if you want to talk. We'd be happy to do that. Man, Pat, there's so much to cover. All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about some changes. The first thing I want to talk about is let's see no changes. No, okay, I love that song. That's a great song. We're going to do a season-long bet. Everybody does a one and done. And you know what? If you're new to this show, you should know this. Raise your hand if you suck at one and done. Okay, that's 100% of us. Okay?
I want to raise 2 hands.
Yeah, so we suck at one and done. We've always sucked at one and done. We've been doing it since 4 people. It was like us and Mayo and Feinberg were doing it, and both of us came in last. So we don't do one and done. We just don't. And we'll talk about it in the Discord if people have questions. I don't know why they would listen to us, but so we're going to do something different, and but it actually doesn't involve you at all, the listener, because you're just going to laugh at us. But me and Pat are going to do a season-long bet, mano y mano. We love to spin the betting wheel, and we will be spinning the betting wheel this year for sure. But there is going to be an ultimate betting wheel spin that shall go down here in a couple of weeks to determine the punishment. But we're going to do a season-long bet, me versus Pat. And the loser is going to have to pay the penalty at the end of the season, okay? And we're going to spin the wheel for that. We need about 10 to 12 season-ending, like this. Think like fantasy football worst place punishments. We need those. We need recommendations. If you're watching on YouTube, first of all, thank you. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop that in the comment. Drop that in the comments. If you're listening or whatever, tweet us, Instagram, DM, anything. Give us some suggestions for what should be on the season-long punishment. All right. Tony has a few. I mean, obviously there's like Waffle House Challenge, all that stuff. But one of us is going to have to do this at the end of the season, and we'll document it on social or on here. So, you guys and gals need to make this entertaining. Tony, what do we have so far to kind of get the juices flowing?
Yeah, just to give everybody a sense of here what we're thinking, where we can go with some of these punishments. We already have, and these are some classics from the first wheel of punishment. I went back, like I said, joined you guys over the last few months, went back, did my research.
Great.
You guys are all about your research here. So went back, did my research to some of you guys' first shows. So on the first wheel of punishment, could bring back some of these. The ranch shot ×2.
Okay.
You go that way. Edward 40 hands. Baby food, which DB, we still got to get you to pay up on your baby food.
Thank you for remembering that, Tony.
The Brooks and Dunn TikTok.
No, Pat nailed that one.
Wear a mask for a show. The shoe shot. The spicy pepper challenge. We get to
a lot of these. I feel like I did.
Just bringing up rough memories for you, Pat. And then my personal favorite, and it's just for the way that you phrase this one, DB. Eat out a pumpkin.
I did that one. I definitely did that.
We were talking about moments earlier. That was a moment.
And Tony, that does help get the juices flowing. But those are those are kind of minor leagues. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to step this
Yeah.
thing up. If you lose the season-long deal, it's got to be bad. It could be the 24-hour Waffle House challenge. I'm going to go ahead and say this one, Pat. If I lost, I would be willing to do some sort of tattoo situation. Would you?
You know,
I'm
I
gonna put you on
actually
the spot right now.
I was thinking about this.
Mhm.
As long as there's a certain amount of taste to it,
Yeah, yeah.
I'd be willing to do the same thing.
Okay,
DB.
so
So we could add that. We could add that, but there needs to be some parameters.
yeah, agree. So some sort of tattoo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, it's got to be subtle in a way. Like,
Yeah.
and it can't be like super painful. Like you got to put it like right on your nipple or something.
Okay,
That feels
yeah.
like that would hurt.
I mean, possibly like you got to go to a restaurant, have a meal with a blow up doll or something. Something like that.
Mhm.
That's the kind of things we're thinking about. So
I
drop
think
that in
a
the
golf
comments.
one too, like golf ideas would be pretty fun. Something that's like
Yeah.
playing a full round, dressed like a female or something. I don't know.
Or in a baby diaper, only a baby diaper or something. You got to get. What about like you have to go and get kicked off of a course? That'd be pretty.
Now
cool.
that'd be, yeah. Well, see, but
Obviously not your own course. I
yeah,
mean,
you don't want to do that. That'd be stupid.
No, you go to you would obviously go to a course that don't ever want to play again. But that would be awesome content, honestly.
Well, we'll get these ideas
Okay,
going.
yeah.
I like where we're heading.
Gets the juices flowing. All right, so that's one thing. We're going to talk about how those picks are going to be made each week here in just a second when we get into our picks for Kapalua. There's some big changes in the Discord too. We've got, among a lot of things, I'm not going to give you all of them, but our boy Byron, the model maniac, has joined the Tour Junkies Discord, and boy, he's already on fire. He joined like a week ago, and he fits right in. It's fantastic. He's in the Discord dropping nuggets and unique content every single week. He's got his own channel in there, and then he's going to be doing round 4 showdown previews every week. Showdown and live betting previews in between round 3 and 4. That's going down every single week. We did a survey at the end of the year and heard a lot of talk about, hey, we want some showdown content. We want some post-round content, some live betting content Thursday through Sunday, and we're going to answer the bell for you. So Byron's going to cover round 4. Me or Pat or Spaz, you guys know him in the Discord, is going to cover round 2 every week. We may or may not get to round 3, but we're going to guarantee round 2 and 4 every single week, and hopefully round 3 as well. We've also got a new section in the Discord called Cheat Sheets, where we're going to be dropping core DFS plays, pivot DFS plays, fades. All these, our bets are all going to be in one place. It's all going to be a little more organized, easy to see. You're not going to want to miss that. If you're not already active on that channel, check it out. We've also got the Office Hours channel, which is going to be important for everybody in the Discord, because the Office Hours is going to tell you when people are going to be available to chat. Me, Pat, Spaz, Byron, any other guests that we have coming in. The Office Hours chat or Office Hours channel will tell you when we're coming in, what we're doing, all that good stuff. Every Wednesday night, I worked on this over the break. Every Wednesday night of a signature event and the majors, we will have a guest in the Wednesday night live chat with me and Pat. I've already got them booked. If you're like DB, you already have a guest booked for August for the FedEx St. Jude. Yes, I do. Yeah. I already do. I already have them confirmed. Some of these guests include Byron, the model maniac, Kenny Kim, Steffi Smalls, GS Luke, cut maker Jeff Seeley, Joe Idoni, PGA tout John Hausbauer, Diane Knox, Tom Jacobs, Eric Patterson. It's going to be an awesome Wednesday night chat season. Obviously, every other week, me and Pat will also be in there doing our thing. Byron, model maniac, will hop in when he can. The chats are going to be off the chain. I think that's all we'll cover for now, but the Discord got an overhaul in the winter off season. So if you haven't been back in, check it out. It's a great place to be. The community is hopping, and I am pumped about what the Discord is going to bring. Pat, I feel like we kind of need to put a slight bow on last season in terms of our betting picks, our outrights. And I got to say, we got to give you the stage, because if people don't know, because, I didn't really put it out on Twitter or whatever. I probably should have. You probably should have. Yeah. But, I saw these people like tweeting out their units, their units. I did this to my unit or whatever. And I was like, oh, all these guys, they're all dwarfed by the season that you had.
Yeah.
And what a season. And I think reflecting on it, at this time of year is a good thing to do. As we turn this chapter of this wild golf year into now getting a regular PGA Tour season that starts in January, thank God, doesn't officially start in the fall. This is going to be a good reminder. Sometimes when it's betting and you're betting golf, you got to get through the dark times. But the what is it? The dawn is darkest or just before the dark. I don't know. What does it say again?
You were close.
The dawn.
I don't know, but you're close.
It's always darkest just before the dawn. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Anyway.
dude. Yeah.
Because Pat, from September of 2022, and you're like, DB, the what 2022? That's when last season actually started. But from September to literally March, you hit no outrights.
Nothing.
You hit none.
Nothing.
I hit 3. I hit 2 in the fall.
Mhm.
I hit Siwoo live at the Sony, which is next week. You hit none.
And I was close at the Sentry, if anybody remembers, with Morikawa.
You were very close.
And then
You
you
choked it away with
right.
the chipping situation. Yet, at the end of 2023, so if you count from 9/22 to 12/23, Pat's outright card finished up 91 units. 91 units.
91.
I think it's the best single outright season either one of us have ever had.
That's an amazing number to even think about, especially with the start. And
it all started.
Oh, that's where I was going. It all started because I decided I needed to be like a caterpillar coming out of the cocoon into this beautiful butterfly. And that was going to create, that was a moment. That was another moment that was going to create the momentum for the rest of the year. And so I painted. It took me like 3 tries. I painted a butterfly on my face. And Chris Kirk won, I believe it was the Honda Classic that week. And it was off to the races from there. It continued, And here's the thing. This is betting for you, right? Like, you can have your stretches of a bad run, but then this happens, And it was a good fall. I hit a couple winners in the fall with Tom Kim and Sahith. So, I mean, it was a good year. It was a lot of fun. And now, do I think I can match that?
No, absolutely
No,
not.
I can't. No, I can't.
You know that meme? I don't know the guy's name. I actually think he's dead. R.I.P. You know the meme with the black guy sitting on the edge of the bed and he's naked and he's just got the huge dong?
Yes. Yeah.
That's your butterfly. Your butterfly came out of the cocoon and he was like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just did it to everybody on for the rest of the season. It was amazing season. Now, then my struggles became, my struggles then it got dark for me and I was drawing stuff on my face and I was
trying all kinds
of stuff. And it looked like it was going to be this just horrid season. When finally I hit Lucas Glover, not the first time, that would have been really smart, but I hit him the second time when no one wanted to bet him.
Which I don't know. That's probably even smarter.
Maybe.
I mean,
but he saved me, and then EVR in the fall at 90-1 saved me. So for me, it was the first season in the 4.5 years we've been tracking this that I had negative units, but I was negative 10 units after all said and done between 9/22 to 12/23, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually perfectly fine with that considering how dark it was. But it's a lesson to us, right? Because if you structure your card the right way, if you stay patient, if you stay disciplined, if you stick to the process, eventually it can happen for you. Because Pat was in the darkest place. You might not hit it this week. You might not hit it next week or the week out. You might not hit one till Florida. You might not hit one till Heritage. But you never know what can happen. You can go on a heck of a run. It was an amazing season. I felt like we needed to put a bow on it. But now we turn the page.
Now we turn the page.
And we turn the page to Kapalua. And I want to talk about the golf course here, Pat. But we've been working on something. And we've been working on it for over a year. and it was a page. It's a page that we're thrilled to turn as of today, literally recording this show. I just we're both excited about it. It's something we've been working on, and Pat and myself, along with 4 other friends, have launched a new site called Bet the Number. Here it is, live in the flesh. You can go to betthenumbergolf.com. It is going to be, if it's not already, it's going to be your go-to golf analytics platform. We're excited to do it. We've been, like I said, we've been working on it for over a year. We want it to be the only tool you need, and we believe it's going to be. I did a course preview video for Kapalua that I shared my screen and did a lot of showed a lot of it there. This is kind of the landing page. You can kind of see some fun stuff here that we're doing with it. All the data is licensed by the PGA Tour. We're getting it straight from ShotLink, straight from the tour, and it's going to be awesome. And there's 2 things about this site. Part of the owners, well, I guess a quarter of our owners, are the very developers that built the site and will be continuing to build it. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, shout out to producer Tony. Look at him. You can just scan the QR code. It'll take you right to the splash page. That's there. You can check that out.
Way to go, Tony.
But
that is fancy.
A quarter of the ownership of this site are actually the developers that wrote the code and are writing the code to build this site and continue building it. And all they want to do is see it become the dominant golf data tool site out there. And that's awesome. When you have that going for you, and it's not owned by another company that is doing football or what, there's just nothing like it. We've seen sites kind of deteriorate over the last couple of years. We want to see this site, Bet the Number, improve, and it will be improving every single week, if not daily, especially here for the first couple months. But this site will look very different by the players, by the Masters, by the U.S. Open than it even does today. But even today, in terms of the tools, and we're going to show you some in a minute, it is as powerful as anything you need. So we're pumped about it. The other part of it is another 25% of its ownership has been doing this professionally for about a dozen PGA Tour players for the last few years. He's been breaking down data, breaking down golf courses, breaking down stats and analytics from the PGA Tour. He knows these courses better than anyone that we know, and he's doing it professionally for some of the best players in the world. Another co-founder, co-owner, and someone who is vested in the performance of this site every single week, wanting to see it improve, making changes, making tweaks, wanting to improve it. It will be heavily leaning towards the betting and the prop side of things. The DFS, like optimizers, lineup builders, all that kind of stuff will possibly come later. There are some DFS, obviously, tools that you'll see today, but it is going to be heavily bent towards giving you the best edge you can have in the betting market. Pat, anything else to add to that for now?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, I mean, just a lot of hard work has gone into this site. It is, as you kind of think, I think you said in an initial kind of email that went out, it's a living and breathing site. It's one of those things that will change and always be better. Lots of things we can't wait to add to this site, but it's already at a point that is, something I'm quite proud of, something even I can use.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually kind of figured it out. But it is, so it's exciting, and definitely get in there, check it out.
Yeah. Tony, what do you got for us?
Well, one thing I just wanted to throw your guys' way, and shout out you guys, your friends, your buddies who helped put this together, as well as over the past year or two, I've been getting more into just the betting world, especially golf betting, working with you guys on some other things as well. So going to some of these other sites that you had mentioned, it's very, very overwhelming for someone who just trying to get into it, learn everything, learn the acronyms, learn the numbers, the abbreviations, all that kind of stuff. This, when you guys first showed it to me, just a few days ago, it's very, very user friendly in the sense where as soon as I just opened up the website and everything popped up there, it's a lot of information, but you can just tell, even from just looking at it right at first, it's very easy to navigate. It's not just throwing all these different things at you, which I found just extremely useful as somebody, again, trying to just learn, get my feet in and get my feet wet, all that kind of stuff. It seems very, very user friendly, which, like I said, for me, I appreciate.
Well, thank you, Tony. Our developers are going to be pumped to hear that. I mean, that's the goal, right? Is to make it very user friendly, not as intimidating for people, especially people just wanting to get into it or casual golf bettors. And it's going to be a thing where, like, you don't necessarily have to be this modeling genius to do anything with it. It's going to give you plenty of information right at your fingertips. Let's start by talking a little bit about Kapalua. Now, one thing I need to say, I forgot to mention, 2 new pieces of content that we're going to be doing every single week. Every weekend, usually on Sunday afternoons, we are going to drop both on the podcast feed and the YouTube channel a course breakdown video and first look at the model. And I'll mainly do that on my own with some screen sharing. We'll look at the golf course. We'll look at what the data says about the golf course. We'll dig into that, get you all prepped and ready to go for, okay, what is the golf course asking of me? So that when those outright odds and those DFS prices drop on Monday, you already know kind of what the course is going to demand, key stats, those kind of things. We'll have you all geared up for it. And then I'm going to kind of look into the early bet the number model and go through that and, just kind of get first impressions on it. So I did that for Kapalua. That's on the YouTube channel. That's also in the podcast feed. You can check that out. And I went a little more in depth on that video on the golf course, and we'll pretty much keep the course breakdown stuff to those videos every week, but did want to take just a second, since it's early in the season and we only got 59 guys to break down, so we can do it, and share our screen a little bit and look at what Kapalua and what Bet the Number shows us here for the Sentry Tournament of Champions. And Pat, feel free to chime in on anything here. But, Bet the Number is pretty simple. You have 4 tabs up at the top. You can look at the tournament overall, the custom model building, the golf course, which is what we're looking at now, and individual player pages. And as you can see, the Plantation course, if I select, I like looking at the last 5 years. If I select these last 5 years, I mean, Pat, we know Kapalua, like 60-yard average wide fairways, so 75% fairway and regulation percentage, which is way above tour average. Same thing with the green and regulation average, with also massive greens and everybody hitting out of the fairway for the most part. You've got nearly an 80% green and reg situation. You got a lot of birdies to be had here. And I looked at the weather a little earlier, Pat. I don't see anything. There's a little consistent breeze there at Kapalua, some wind. I don't think we're going to see the Cam Smith. What did he shoot, like 34 under a couple years ago or something? But yeah, I bet we see a 26 to 29 under win this thing. It's going to be a birdie fest, right? Big greens, all Bermuda grass. I won't get into this top performer section, but I do want to show, just because it's so sexy, Pat. I mean, what do you think about these top 2 boxes here, Pat?
These are really my favorite, especially that driving one. I love being able to just look at that in a graphic. Like, whenever we're talking about shows or courses in general, and, we would do research previously, I'd always kind of wonder, well, is this a bomber's paradise, or is this, is this an accuracy course? What is this? It's just right there in front of you,
Right.
And so I really enjoy that part of this. And it's not like something I got to figure out, because it's right there in a visual, which I think is really cool.
Well, and what people don't see, and this is where our edge comes into play with who's behind this website, is this driving card over here on the left is calculating a number of things in the background. It's looking at the radar data from the PGA Tour ShotLink and understanding at what percentage guys are hitting driver on every hole that's not a par 3, and it'll do this on every golf course. What percentage are guys hitting driver, to understand, okay, how many driver holes are there? At Kapalua, there's 15, because there's only 3 par 3s, and you can send it on every par 4 and par 5. But obviously that will change as the courses change. So it's telling you how often guys club down or don't, or just go ahead and send it, which is important. But we're also doing our own calculation in the background, and we're making our own proprietary stat here, and more of these are coming, where you see this bomb opportunity over here. And it's telling you, based on some numbers that we're running in the background, if a player is 20 yards longer off the tee than the average player in the field, what does that gain them in strokes gained per round? And at Kapalua, it's a lot. It's 2.17 strokes per round. Now, if you look at some Kapalua data, you don't have to be a bomber to play well here. I mean, Harris English, not a bomber, won here. Colin Morikawa obviously could have won last year. You don't have to be, but the super bombers definitely have an advantage. So I love that about this card. And then the approach shot distribution, and this is something that you'll see throughout the site. We'll show it we'll show it in the custom model here in a minute. But we can give you strokes gained data in these proximity ranges from, so not just strokes gained data from proximity ranges. So strokes gained, not just proximity in feet, which is so strokes gained better statistic. But we can also show you from where it comes from. Does it come from the fairway? Does it come from the rough? Does it come from other? So that you can appropriately change your model. Obviously at Kapalua with 60-yard wide fairways, the vast majority of the approach shots every single hole are coming from the fairway. So strokes gained approach from the fairway in these certain buckets is going to be key. So that's just a little bit on Bet the Number. Again, there's a link in the description. You can easily find it, bettheNumberGolf.com. All right. Are we ready to get into the field, Pat? Is that everything? Did I get everything?
Mm-hmm.
So many notes. So many notes. Okay, let's talk about it. Outright odds up to 30-1. Let's pull it up. Let's see. We got Scheffler at the top of the board. You got Hovland kind of there as a second kind of co-favorite. Cantlay, Morikawa, Homa, Schauffele, Ludwig, Studwig. You know what I mean. He's in here. There's a lot of names here in the shorter than 30-1 range. And this is where me and Pat's season-long bet comes in. We are going to every week pick one player in this range up to 30-1 to fade. Okay, so I told you we're not doing the one and done. We're going to pick a guy to fade. So it's kind of a chalk bomb situation before the chalk bomb email hits on Wednesday. It's our chalk bomb early on a Monday, which is probably going to kill us. And all we're going to do to track this season-long bet is calculate earnings, kind of like one and done. But in our game, the guy with the highest earnings at the end of the season is the one that's going to have to pay the price and do the punishment on the betting wheel. So we are picking one player in this 30-1 or shorter range to fade, and that is what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do now. Why don't we actually start with that, Pat? And actually, you know what? I don't know if producer Tony had a way to figure out who's going first, but I was going to say, I think because of your 91 unit situation that from last year, you've earned the right to go first. And now we will alternate every week from here on out. So you have the floor. Right. We cannot pick the same player. And our rule of thumb has been that they had to have been 30-1 at some point on Monday opening odds.
Okay.
If they've shortened or whatever, we'll let it slide.
Okay. All right.
Who you fading?
I appreciate this. I appreciate you, doing the honorable thing and letting me go first.
Of course.
So I am going to start this season, and I really like that this is the guy I'm going to fade for the first event, and that's Jordan Spieth. Now he's at 22-1 odds right now on DK. He does not have. Well, he did win here, so I'll give him that. He did win here in 2016. Since
was it like Obama president? Who was president?
I don't know. But the last couple of years here, 2023 and 2022, have not been great. T13, T21. Remember, it's a short field. So I'm not feeling good about Jordan this week. And I think that Jordan is the type player also that I feel like will eventually get into the season. Like, by the time you get to the Masters, Jordan is about ready. But I'm not sure how much he's an out of the gate starter. So I'm gonna go with Jordan Spieth as my fade this week.
Oh, dang it. Okay. Well, he was my first pick. So right off the bat, you've already stolen. I mean, I do think Spieth is kind of the easy fade here. Although with all the Kapalua Augusta comparisons, which you hear, and like the creativity that people say it demands, it is scary, right? Like, even though Spieth really didn't give us much to look at last year, if the break does him some good and he comes out, I mean, it is a place that he should theoretically do quite well. I think ultimately for me, we just haven't seen enough. And in a field that's pretty strong, he's the guy. So I think that's the right call. I hate this. I hate what I have to do now. I hate it because I love this player. I'm bullish on him for the year. In fact, in our Discord Nut Hut Shit Show season-long draft, he was my third pick, I think. I'm going to take reluctantly Tyrrell Hatton.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Tyrrell Hatton. One of the things a caddy told us about this place a while ago was that Kapalua requires a little bit of experience, a little bit of local, not local knowledge, but like just a couple laps around it really helps guys understand how the land moves and how to attack every hole and all this kind of stuff. And even though Patton had a great fall, it wasn't necessarily on the PGA Tour. He didn't do much, but he finished 11th at the Tour DP World Tour Championship. He finished runner-up at Wentworth. He had a good fall, so he played well, but he's not played here before. I think I'm going to take my chances that Tyrrell, first timer, just kind of comes out here and he's here to wear an unbuttoned floral shirt, get laid, and do his thing.
I don't mind the pick. He was on the list for me. I could see him just yelling at whales too, like just getting mad at whales walking down the fairway.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
so pissed off at the freaking whale out there that just surfaced.
A whale breached in his
swing. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
blew out its hole.
Okay, yeah. Free Willy my ass. All right. Well, that's who we don't want to play. But let's start off 2024. Make some picks here in this short range. I'll kick it back to you. Who do you like here up to 30-1? Who you firing on?
Well, I got 3 in here that I really love. Okay. I'll start with the longest odds guy, actually. And I like Tony Finau this week, TV. He's at 28-1. Now, I will say in our model here, in the BTN model, he's not exactly showing up as that fantastic as far as the stats are concerned. He does have a couple top 10s here. I feel like Tony, though, has a chance to get off to a good start here on this golf course. So I'm going to go with Tony Finau at 28-1. And then I like Xander, who just absolutely kills this golf course. Xander is at 14-1. You look at his finishes here. Now, he did withdraw here last year, but he's got a win in 2019, a second in 2020, T5 in 2021. The guy plays really well here, so I do like Xander at 14-1. Now, he does show up pretty well in the model, so he's up there at number 3. Now, I'm going back to Morikawa, DB. He's at 12-1. I had forgotten about his win at the Zozo in the fall. It just kind of, to me, it came a little bit out of nowhere. He was sort of, I don't know, hadn't shown much. So I like that, coming off that win in the fall. He's played here 4 times, definitely has experience here since 2020, all top 10s, T7 in 2020, T7 in 2021, T5 in 2022. And then last year, we know what happened. Really should have won this golf tournament. And, the live player, John Rahm, came up and played a great round. Everybody always, when you go back looking at that tournament, yes, he did choke it away. I mean, that happened.
The chipping's just dreadful.
But John Rahm still played amazing on Sunday. I believe, didn't he shoot 61? Something like that, 61 or 62. So it wasn't like Rahm just kind of fell into it. He did play very good golf down the stretch to win that golf tournament, but Morikawa should have won. So,
yeah. Well, I have thoughts on Morikawa. Before I do that, though, I do want to remind everybody that our friends at SoBet are still there handicapping. You got now 60 to 70, I think, handicappers on the SoBet platform, all vetted by SoBet, good at what they do. Every sport imaginable, not just the NFL as it's starting to wind down. Not just the college football playoff as that's going on, but also NBA. Baseball is going to get up and running. Hockey's doing his thing. They got tennis. They got pickleball. They got any. If you can bet on it, and there's somebody who's really good at betting on it, they've got that handicapper at SoBet. And obviously, we're doing exclusive bets on SoBet every single week and dropping in some plays there too. It's an awesome app. That you talk about an app that is improving every single week. The SoBet app has improved a ton. So if you've tried it and you left it for whatever reason, I guarantee you get it back, you're going to be like, whoa, this thing's sick. So it's it's like following a bunch of great handicappers on X or Twitter, except you don't have to deal with all the other bull that comes with X. So it's a great platform, powerful platform, a lot of units being won over there, and every play they demand their handicappers put explanation behind the play and put unit values, allocations behind the play. There's a link in the description. You can use code TJ Trial when you check out for the first month free. SoBet is killing it, and we appreciate them partnering with the Tour Junkies yet another year. It's gone fantastic with them. We love those guys. They're crushing it over there. Great team, and they're just they just love betting. So we love them. So shout out to SoBet. Pat, I have two plays here. Morikawa was one of them. Yeah. I think Morikawa gets a little bit of, I think there's a redemption story here for Kawa. Obviously with Rahm exiting stage left to live, that helps. I like what I saw out of him in the fall. And I think he's one of those guys. I mean, we're always working on so much other stuff in the off season in terms of like improving the product going into the next season and like the Discord overhaul and making new hires and all this stuff. Like we don't usually do like season preview shows, which we probably should, but maybe we can talk about that on the new show that we're going to do every Thursday, which we'll share here in a minute. But I think Morikawa is one of those guys, and probably you could say the same thing about your boy Xander, who you just mentioned. Mm-hmm. It just didn't get a lot out of the game last year. They checked a lot of boxes. They did a lot of great things. They had some good finishes, but they just didn't get it. They didn't get all the juice out of it, and we know how random this sport is, and you're one dumb play or one silly, shot from somebody else that it makes a difference between you winning and losing. So I think Morikawa could have a really good season this year. And I think it could start right here with some redemption at Kapalua. So I'm with you. And obviously I can't start the year and ignore in a 59-man field requiring deadly approach play, send it off the tee, roll the rock at double digits. Max Homa, who I found at 14-1 on FanDuel, is my second play. I love the value with Max here. Had a tremendous fall as well. Like Morikawa, very consistent. Obviously played great at the Ryder Cup. Made a lot of money off of him there. I think this is a great spot for Max. I could see him winning this thing easily. And I trust the putt. Looking at like Scheffler putted pretty well at the Hero, I think. Do you remember that? I think let me look at what he did at the Hero, because he won the Hero. Yeah. He finished. All right. So the Hero was only 20 people. Yeah, it was 20 people, but he finished 6th in strokes gained putting, actually positive. He was positive round 1, 2, 3. He was positive the first 3 rounds and then lost a ton on the 4th round. But net positive for him putting. Who knows? Like maybe he comes out and he's rolling it incredibly. And if he is, then he's probably going to run away with it. But with this sometimes turning into a situation of 80% greens and reg, like who can just drop the most putts, I think I'd rather pass and give a look to a guy like Homa, who I trust to hit it close and make a bunch of putts. And when I looked at the names up top, he was the one that seemed the most juicy to me.
Yeah, I don't mind Homa at all. So
sweet. All right, let's move on to the next range, up to 75-1 in the outright market. Before we do that, I want to tell folks what's coming up in future podcasts, because I do want to, I want to keep the schedule. I want to keep the podcast hot. Like we're going to plan the podcast. Tony's going to help a lot. We got some good stuff coming. And one thing we have coming for the Farmers episode in a few weeks, because we got the Sony next week, then the Amex, then the Farmers at Torrey Pines. We are going to take listener voicemails. We're going to bring back the segment, the old Line Bling segment, folks. So that's right. The number's on your screen. You can call 706-6-ADDICT, 706-623-3428. We need voicemails, listener voicemails. It could be about literally anything. It could be about golf. It could be about betting, about DFS, your own golf game, a goal that you have, your New Year's resolution. It could be feedback for the Tour Junkies that you want to see us do or not do. It could be your favorite Tour Junkies moment from 2023. It could be literally a thought on LIV, a thought on the whole golf landscape right now and how crazy it all is. Anything. We just want some voicemails. We're going to bring in some voicemails to the show. answer some listener questions at the end of the Farmers episode. So drop that in there. Give it a call, 706-6-ADDICT, 706-623-3428. Do that, okay? And don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, and also tell us some punishment suggestions that you have for the betting wheel. All right, up to 75-1, Pat. I'll start. I got 3 names in here that I like. And I'm actually gonna open up the let me see here. I'm gonna share my screen and show this dude who's just crushing it. The model loves this guy, Pat, and he is at the best number I found was 45-1 on Mr. Russell Henley.
You know, I thought you were going to go there.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't mind it.
now the BTN model valuing ball speed, a little, like I said, there's some bomb opportunity here.
Yeah.
He's pretty dead last in the ball speed category, right? Almost dead last.
Yeah.
But dang it, if he doesn't get a lot out of what he does, right? And this is interesting. If you notice here, the strokes gained approach between 60 and 140 is you're looking at that and you're like, what? 60 and 140? Well, this is the power of the custom model at BTN. I'm going to just do a quick walkthrough here. These are my model specifications here, and this is the BTN internal model. But we can adjust this. I'm going to just skip through some of this, and you can go right to here, and you can get strokes gained approach numbers, and you can get them from any yardage bucket you want. You can make up your own yardage bucket. So here we feel like there's a lot of shots between 60 and 140 yards. And the lie we're going to take from the fairway or off the tee, obviously for par 3s there. We can filter that, which is pretty dang awesome.
Mhm.
I also want to see this. So he ranks 8th in the model as it stands now. But this is another cool thing. By the way, here's another strokes gained approach model here between 175 and 275. A lot of short irons and wedges, and then a lot of long irons. So you've got those 2 strokes gained approach filters working in there. But I want to make a change, and I want to show the people some power here in the custom model. Strokes gained putting from 7 to 20 feet. This is, again, I don't know if anywhere else you can do this. Last 24 rounds, I'll leave that there, but I'm going to add another filter here and see what happens to Mr. Henley. It might make it worse. I actually don't know. I'm going to filter. There's so many filters here I can do, either by the course, architect, green size. I'm going to go to green grass and go to Bermuda. And I'm going to apply that filter and see what happens. And then I'm going to wrap it up here, and let's see what happens to Mr. Henley. He was 8th in the model. Oh, he stayed 8th. Okay. Well, it didn't affect him that much. Okay. But I'm liking Russell Henley. He played here last year, finished T30, not great, but he lost 6 shots putting. And his putting can definitely be up or down. The approach play is what's super attractive here. But I'm going to trust the putting, and I think there's another big year coming for Russell Henley. He was actually another player that I drafted in that Discord, that internal Discord league that we're doing. So I'm buying Henley at 45-1. How can you not bet Eric Cole at 60-1 right now with just the approach play? The fact that and I know it kind of goes against the first timer thing, but I also think there's a factor of, we talk about this for some of these events in the fall and these no cut events like the Hero, who kind of cares? Eric Cole's got to be just damn, dude, I'm at the Sentry, I'm playing in this strong field, the first signature event of the year, $20 million purse, no cut. John Rahm ain't here. He dipped. You know what I mean? All I got to do is beat Scheffler's wonky putting self and a few other names that, Xander and Cantlay can't seem to close the door on anything. Hovland looked a little rusty at the Hero. Maybe he sat on his laurels after earning all that cash in the playoffs. I just think Cole's going to come in and just be hungry. And I think there's something to be said about that at 60-1, considering that he doesn't have to hit, he can spray it like he normally does off the tee. That's a problem for him. Everything else, he's dialed at 60-1 on MGM. Is the best number I found. And then finally, I'm a sucker for Cam Davis, 66-1 on MGM. I would be surprised if that number sticks around. I think that number's too short for him on a Bombers kind of track. He's had a good finish here before. I think he's only played here once. I don't have it in front of me, but I like Cam Davis a lot here too at 66-1. Those are my 3 favorites here.
All right, a lot of agreement here. I had Cole written down. I had Henley written down. So I'm with you on those 2. I tell you, when are we going to get a win out of Cam Young?
Dude,
Can we get it this week just by looking at the ball speed on that number?
Okay, let me pose a question to you. This is another, like, if we had a season look ahead show. What if the Cam Young thing, like, what if Cam Young already had what if he's a flash in the pan and he already flashed? Like, are we trying to is everybody trying to force Cam Young to be back at what he was? But what if, like, because, like, remember before Cam Young, had we ever heard of Cam Young?
Yeah.
Had anybody heard of him in college? Had he torn it up doing anything else prior to that? No, he just, like, had a run on the Korn Ferry Tour. I can't remember how he got promoted or whatever, but then he bursts on the scene to the PGA Tour, has a good run. Obviously, he's played well in majors, right? Like, the dude's got game. But what if that's it? Like, what if now he's actually just, like, this is who he is?
I don't know. Like, I can't figure out, when you watch him play, you see all the tools. You see a lot of talent. And it just never seems to, like, you talked earlier about Xander and Morikawa not getting a lot of juice out of out of their game. But their game was on point when you're looking at approach, all that kind of stuff. Like, Cam Young was at a point 2 years ago now. So we're 2 years ago, or a year and a half, whatever, where he finished second in 3-4 majors, something like that. And then last year he did he almost won the match play event, right?
Yeah, he was in the final.
When you had both,
I had him and Sam
finals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's super talented, and I feel like this could be a golf course that he can win on.
It should be.
I don't. So 35-1 is what his odds are. I mean, I feel like if you can get him a little bit longer than that, maybe you try it.
Although, I'm looking at his, like, good finishes. He hasn't done much in Birdie Fest outside of the Deer last year. Like, a lot of his best finishes, the Open, these majors.
Did I hear, by the way, I don't know if this was on a text group or in the Nut Hut, that he's changing caddies again?
Well, that was all over Twitter. Yeah, he dropped Tesori. Tesori's with Brendan Todd now.
And who's with Young now?
I don't know, actually. We'll find out before.
That'll be interesting to find out who's on his back. Which it's weird to me that Tesori didn't last very long with him, because Tesori's just such a good caddy.
Yeah,
we all know the things he's done. So I don't know, but Cam Young, there is some interest there, and maybe I'm just a sucker for it because I just keep wanting him to get a victory at some point.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it just he hit at a time when, like, golf Twitter and, like, gambling and DFS Twitter's at a fever pitch, and I feel like we all just were like, oh yes, new shiny object, and now we're just still trying to force it. But, and I'm not saying he's not going to win on the PGA Tour. I just don't know, man. It just feels like maybe he's just not who we thought he was.
Yeah.
And he's going to.
He obviously played well enough to even be in this field, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the top 10s in majors will do that. I mean, the top 10 at the Masters, top 10 at the Open. Like I said, he does seem to like these tougher courses. I don't know that I trust his putter, in a possible 25 to 30 under situation. Shout out to producer Tony too. Young won back-to-back Korn Ferry Tour events in 2021. And that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes guys just get nuclear hot for a week or two. Look at Lucas Glover. Like, Lucas Glover's entire world changed because of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And now, he's on the Ryder Cup. He's on the damn TGL team. He's in all the majors. He's in all the signature events. He's going to have a heck of a next 12 months because of that. But will he be, will we kind of see him just go back to being Lucas Glover? I don't know. Like, and so Cam Young gets really hot on the Korn Ferry Tour, keeps it going, pops here and there, but now he's just kind of like a guy. I just feel like he's just kind of a guy.
So he is So is he like Steven Yeager? How would you compare? I mean, Steven Yeager got hot on the Corn Ferry Tour, won like 2 or 3 events or whatever. He got the Battlefield promotion.
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
But he's just a guy, if you think about it.
It does seem like Young has at least a little more firepower. Oh yeah. He seems like he's got a little more firepower than Yeager. But I don't know. I'm not gonna. That's a New Year's resolution for me. I'm not gonna force Cam Young.
Okay.
It's not.
I like that. All right. Maybe I'm forcing him a little bit.
Who else you like in this range? You got anybody else? Is that it?
No, that was it because you basically talked about 2 of my 3 that I had in this range.
I love the bombs in the next range. Let's talk about guys up to 125 to 1. Yeah, I'm already. I mean, the DB's big balls betting card in me is foaming at the mouth here, ready to go on some of these guys. I'm very excited. So up to 125 to 1, there are 4 names that I'm interested in. Probably not going to be able to bet all of them, but the first one that I know I'm firing on is JT Poston at 100 to 1. Considering how well he finished, or really his whole season last year was like kind of underrated good. Like he was solid. I think his irons have stepped up a notch. And while he's not super long and that's going to hurt him, the iron play is so solid, and we know what the putter can do for JT. The iron and putting combination for me is what's exciting. And 100 to 1 in a 59-man field event is very enticing to a guy who is a multiple winner on the PGA Tour. So JT at 100 to 1 on MGM for sure. We'll kind of go back and forth here. Who you got after that?
Well, I like Svensson. You can get him at 110 to 1 on PointsBet. He's all the way down at 90 to 1 on DK. I like Svensson a lot. Now, has played here once. Didn't have a great finish last year.
He killed me last year. I remember that.
Yeah.
I think he won the RSM and just completely mailed it in for the next 6 weeks and showed up to Maui. Didn't know which end of the club to hold. He was dreadful last year, but I think we could see a different Svensson here.
I think you're right. And, he did his last event was the RSM, obviously defending, and was T5 then. So I think Svensson is, when you look at the BTN model too, he's up there in the top 5.
Yeah, he is.
So I think Svensson could have a good week, and I do think 110 to 1 is a pretty damn good number there.
I got 2 more here. Who I think could be sneaky, but I don't know. Depending on the structure of the card, I don't know that I'll be able to have enough guys on it to get him in there. But I think English is kind of sneaky.
Okay, was not expecting that.
He's a past winner, and what does he do well? Irons when he's on. And that's kind of the argument too with an event like this when we've had some layoff. And our boy Byron Model Maniac dropped in some really cool stats that he did. Dropped him in the Discord this week, kind of looking at guys, different ways you can look at guys we haven't seen in a while, right? Some guys come out and they look sharp and they look like they've been in the lab and they're dialed and they're ready to go. And some guys you can definitely tell are just there shaking the rust off. But so what do you look at, right? How much do you weigh the fall? How much do you weigh, or do you look at a larger baseline of who these guys are? I look at both for sure, but I think if we look at Harris English at a baseline, like long-term level, he does 2 things really well, a lot like JT Poston. He hits his irons fantastic, hits them close, flusher, and he putts the lights out. And that's the combination at Kapalua that I think led to him winning here. And again, a multiple-time PGA Tour winner. So I think English is a little sneaky, but I don't love him as much as, because I also like Svensson. I don't love him as much as I like JT and Svensson, but I think he's right there.
Okay. I may steal this guy from you. Or maybe in the year of 2024, this person will be my guy.
I got a feeling that this person
not your guy. And that's Luke List.
Yeah,
I'm going with Luke List. I've seen him as long as 110 to 1.
I just need to know if the putter. I might text him. And just
I don't know. Don't be too crazy.
Luke, Happy New Year. How's your putter?
Yeah.
I just would really like to know because, man, from a ball striking, like tee to green, this place is perfect for Luke List.
Perfect. And
But a 25 to 30 under winning score means Lukey has to use the flat stick.
he does. But Luke, what a great fall he had with that victory. Almost 2 victories, really, I think, right? I love List this week too. So I think you get him around 100 to 1. Fire in on that for sure.
He was the other name I had written down. He was positive putting at the RSM. And I don't and again, he gained 6 strokes putting at the Sanderson. Like he may have found a little something. God, that's tempting. You knew it was going to get me too. Okay.
Oh, I knew.
I got one more outright. Then we're going to move into some top 10s. I really think, and I don't think this is going to be anything that shocks anybody, but in terms of a play that I like over 125 to 1, there is one guy, and the last time we saw him, he was on my betting card and he was holding the trophy, and that is our friend of the podcast, great interview, great guy, Eric Van Rooyen, the South African.
Yes. All right. I'm go ahead and say you can finish it on this note because he was my other one, my last one, EVR. I like it.
And he wins a birdie fest at 27 under at the Worldwide Technology Open. You could see this is going to be an interesting test because when EVR came back from the regular season and showed up at the Fortinet, his strokes gained approach numbers were off the charts. I mean, 5 strokes, 3 strokes, 4. I mean, like gaining so many strokes with his irons. Something has clicked with the iron play. Now, obviously, it's a stronger field. You know, we got to see what the putter turns out to do for EVR. He's played the Sentry one time. It was in 2022, finished T25. But it's hard not to like EVR at 150 to 1. If, you know, for a guy like him who got that hot with the irons, if he can't, it's got to suck to like then have everything stop, you know, because you're so hot. You're like, you want to keep playing. You want to keep doing the thing. And then all of a sudden, nope, for the 6 weeks of the year, the tour's done. But we'll see if he comes back still hot. But we both like EVR 150, huh? Okay. Nice. All right, let's get to the top 10 6-pack this week. Normally do top 20s, but not in we don't have a full field here. So we're going to do top 10 locks and bombs for the Sentry. I have 2. One of them we haven't talked about yet, Pat.
Okay.
I wanted some exposure to this guy because he is number 1 in the BTN proprietary model. He is a freaking stud, like EVR, won the last tournament he played. And while he is, I do love him at a top 10. I think I'll risk it and not bet him outright. A little bit, some of that's the lack of experience play that I'm doing here at his number. But Ludwig Aberg, and I am going to continue to call him Ludwig Aberg. I'm not doing the Ludwig Oberg thing. I don't trust myself to stay consistent on that all year. So it's Ludwig Aberg for me. Ludwig Aberg plus 140 on DK. Lock it, right? I mean, you have to agree.
Yes. I mean, the reason he didn't come up, he maybe because at the number at whatever 12 to 1, 14 to 1. I do think he'll come up a lot in the DFS show as far as pretty much a lock there where he's priced. But I like it. So okay.
Well, the next one for me is probably, I don't know if we have the same locks here, but I actually have Xander. I have 2 guys here that I don't have outright exposure to. I said Xander was a guy who we didn't, like Morikawa, didn't get everything out of his game last year because he played so well. And he obviously loves it here at the Sentry. But there's also a part of me that's like, dude, Xander's just kind of a soy boy beta. Like, is he going to win? I don't know. But I count on him to top 10. So I'd rather have a guy like Homa, who can close at a similar number outright. But I like the Xander exposure at the top 10, also at plus 140.
Okay. Well, that'll change mine a little bit, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of similar. So now I do have Kawa. I like Morikawa at plus 125. I think top 10, lock it in, love it.
I hate it. Mm-hmm.
But then I'll flip it with you then. Since you had Homa as an outright, I actually have Homa written down as a top 10 lock at plus 130. So Homa and obviously you like him, but I think as a top 10, great bet there, plus money. So lock those 2 in for me.
All right, who's your bomb?
I'm going to go with Svensson at plus 600.
Ooh, that's a big bomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's got to be 4 to 1 or longer, right?
Yeah. That's a good one. Svensson at 6 to 1. All right, I'm going 4 to 1. I'm going the Aussie. I'm going Cam Davis, man. The kid's made me a bunch of money over his career. Had a great fall. 3rd at the Fortinet, 7th at the Shriners, 12th at the Zozo. Putting lights out. He's going to unleash driver here. He played here one time in 2022, finished T10 his first time out. Gained strokes in every category. The BTN model definitely loves Cam D. Great par 5 score. I mean, the kid's just a stud. So I'm going Cam Davis 4 to 1. Just feels like a lock for a top 10 on that kid. Love it.
Okay.
Oh. All right, Pat. We're going to wrap this thing up with New Year's Rezzies. New Year's Rezzies. By the way, before we get out of here, before Pat dishes out the Rezzies, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment if you're watching on YouTube. Punishment suggestions. We need those. And don't forget to call the hotline Bling 706-6-ADDICT. Leave some voicemails for the farmers. We do it every year. We're going to do Pat's resolution review from last year, how 2023 go, and then the new ones, golf resolutions, personal resolutions for 2024, and I'll do mine on the DFS show. Pat, give us a quick review of how last year ended up for you.
Okay. All right. Let me pull it up.
And I have it written down, so I will check you.
I have it. Let me pull it up here real quick. All right, here we go. We'll start with the golf resolutions. So the first one was to break 80. That did not happen. Now, I did come close several times, but it didn't happen. The next one was win a golf trophy, an event, a flight. That didn't happen either. Yeah. We were close, DB. Once again, we were close, and you're a member guest to winning the flight, and we did not.
Yeah.
And then the last one. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Improve iron play and hit 8. How much of an idiot am I? 8 greens in regulation per round.
What a goal. What a goal. You were just feeling yourself last year.
Goal.
God, this time last year, Pat was just
quite the goal. It's not the same this year for my golf resolutions, but anyway.
Okay.
All right. 2023, non-golf resolutions. Be more connected with family and friends.
Oh.
I think so.
Okay.
I think in general, I hit this one.
Well, nobody on this show could know, but we believe you.
But I'm just saying.
Okay, good.
The next one is kind of a twofold one. Work out at least 3 days a week and then the sit-up challenge. Now, I will say I worked out more in the year of 2023 of our Lord, more than I think I've worked out since college or whatever. Like, I worked out way more than ever.
If your wives are listening or significant others, you might want to just turn it off at this point. This could get this. Yeah, we don't want her to.
But it was not 3 days.
It
was not 3 days a week, and it tailed off as the year got on.
Mm-hmm.
As did the sit-up challenge.
Yeah,
tailed off. Now, I did try and prove that I was doing it on Thanksgiving Sunday, and I did 300 and something sit-ups, and it literally about killed me. I thought I was sore in areas for a month. As a matter of fact, there's still one area I'm sore from that.
Electric live stream.
That
was. Yeah.
Okay. Then start playing. I wanted to kind of pick up a hobby again. So I started playing pickleball. I wanted to play pickleball. I played like twice, which kind of sucks because it's not that hard. It's right down the street from me. And I enjoy playing, but I never made the time for it. That's part of New Year's resolutions, by the way. You got to make the time for it. Okay. Tony. Yeah, that was sore. Bonus, only drink wine when you do the FGS, which the FGS didn't really happen all that much anyway, or on special occasions and weekends. Now, I did cut back on wine a crap ton last year, a crap ton.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably continue to do that this year in the resolutions.
Okay. All right. So, I mean,
was that you want to fact check me?
No. You're dead on accurate. Okay. Overall report card grade, what would you give yourself?
I'd give myself a C, only because some of those I didn't hit, but I did them more than I've ever, like the workout thing. I was happy with myself for the fact that at least I was trying to get into the gym maybe a couple days a week, but which is when you're starting at 0 and it goes to 2, you're okay with that. And I think that I did feel like the golf game improved. I got a couple lessons at the beginning of the year. I didn't continue that, but I didn't break 80. But it was improving, and the iron play was improving. So, but 8 greens in regulation is the most ridiculous number I've ever heard. Man, okay. What do you want? This year's?
Yeah.
What do you want me to start with? Golf?
Hit me with golf.
Okay, here we go with golf. All right, I've played golf a long time, DB. A long time. Since maybe I was 3 or 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And now maybe I got one of these when I was like a junior, learning the game, obviously. But since then, never has happened. Never is a putting lesson. I've never had a putting lesson in my adult life, or even ever since 5 or 6 years old, learning to play. Like, how do you putt the ball? I want to get a putting lesson. But then on top of that, I want to practice putting at least 2 days a week. Now, that could be on a mat.
There's no way you're doing that.
I think I could do it. Or
no, you're not going to do that. You're going to laugh. Okay, this is going to be your green regulation one.
All right, maybe you need that every year, DB.
That's it. You're not doing.
Literally, I passed by a putting green in my. Well, no, I don't want to say that. I don't want. That's a little bit of a flex. But anyway, I should be able to at least practice putting 2 days a week. That's all.
There's no way you're doing that. Also, why do you is the reason you've never had a putting lesson because your ego has never let you, because you've always seen yourself as this short game wizard, and you've mean so.
If I felt that way, I would have said I was going to get a short game lesson, which I obviously don't need. Okay.
Okay.
But I do.
I also thought you applied that to putting as well.
No, I don't apply it to putting because I don't think I'm a great putter. I think I could be. I think I have a good feel for putting.
Yeah.
At times, but I never make birdies. Now, a lot of that's greens in regulation, right? And then hitting greens and hitting it close. But I don't make a whole lot of birdies. I do think if I can make some putts, I can make some birdies. So that's one of them. The next one, now this is it. This is our friend Chalk Bomb, formerly Chalk Bomb Ben, came up with this, and that's increasing swing speed. He thinks to get to break 80, which Ben puts all these damn numbers out there and stats and whatever else. He thinks he's so damn smart. He thinks if I get to 102 swing speed by June, and then 105 by the end of the year, that I'll certainly be breaking 80. I'm going to try this. I don't know how to do this. Now, I do know I have measured my swing speed before on drivers. And I don't think, I guess he's talking about driver, right? Is that what we're talking about? Just driver? And it is somewhere around like 95 to 98. So it's not something I don't think I can, like is unattainable, that I can't get to 102 or I can't get to 105, but there's going to have to, that's going to involve some training, right? DB?
I would like to offer that you document your training on social media for us, please. You literally do nothing on social media, and the people would much rather see you. And I think if the minimum lift that you could do is give us just a glimpse into what your training looks like through like an Instagram story. You don't even have to edit it and make it all pretty and do a reel and all this. Just an Instagram story a week of the putting thing and the how Pat is adding distance thing would just be great. I would love for that to be a part of your resolution.
Okay. I'll put that in here on those two.
Okay.
IG. Now, again, if there's listeners out there that want to help, I mean, I got plenty of folks I can go to on how to get the swing speed up. Then I'm all ears. All right.
Tony said Pat's drive for distance. He's got you.
He's got the playlist. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the last one there is real quick. We'll bring it back to breaking 80. I'm going to bring that one back in again this year.
Yeah.
So all of those things I'm hoping lead to that. All right. Non-golf. This one actually came from you, DB, but in an indirect way. I want to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier this year. Okay. And I want to at least try to do that. I know there's going to be some nights where I can't, baseball practices, whatever. Yeah, I'd love to be in bed by 9:30, but 10 at the latest.
God, we're getting old, man. God,
I know, but I want to get in bed earlier and I want to wake up earlier. And I think that leads to a lot more things. It leads
Can you imagine us saying this to ourselves 9 years ago doing this show?
I know. But it leaves to like when you go to bed earlier, you
Oh,
don't
it's way better.
you don't do anything like you don't have that extra cocktail if you want to have an extra
Yeah.
cocktail. You don't. There are all kinds of you
Oh,
don't. need
because
the
all you're
nighttime
thinking about
snack.
is you're gonna be peeing 4 times a night, and you're
Yeah.
cotton mouth, and you're dehydrated, and you're it's all the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony said
So
we're getting old because that sounds so appealing.
yeah. Wait till my next one. On top of this, I'm gonna add in on this for number one, and this is where you come in. You said something to me a while back
Oh gosh.
that jarred me a little bit because I mentioned that I either couldn't sleep or something, but it was because I looked at my phone at night.
Yeah, you do that a lot.
And I do that a lot, and it makes it where you're like you stress about something or you don't go back to bed. It takes you longer because you've got that bright light in your face. I don't know. So not looking at my phone at night. Just if I need a clock by my bed if I want to know what time it is, but not my phone.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add that in to going to bed earlier.
Dude, before you move on, can I tell you just an awareness that I had the other day? Because I just turned 40, December 19th. I'm still working through it. Like every day I think about it, like, oh my God, I'm 40. I literally saw this the other day, and like Tony just said, I've caught myself going, God dang, I need that. That sounds amazing. God, I need that. That's going to help me so much. And then I caught myself going, how old are you? I saw an ad, a commercial, and the guy was like, do you know that when you get older and you're trying to go to bed, LED lights can keep you awake, and they do this to your brain, and the bright lights do all this for hours even after the fact. And do you know that it starts with driving? So the LED headlights that affect you when you're driving at night, if you're driving past 6 p.m. and you aren't wearing these glasses, and then you go home and you look on your phone and your laptop and your TV without these glasses,
Yes.
you're gonna be awake all night. And I was listening to it, and I was like, that's me. He's talking to me. I don't wear those glasses, and I'm awake when I don't
thought
want to
about
be
this
awake.
the other day because you mentioned it in a text group, and I was like, I need some of those glasses.
Yes, and I'm like, that would help me because I am disciplined. I am. I try to go to bed at a decent hour. When I put my phone down, I put my phone down, and I'm still awake, and it frustrates me to no end. And then I'm listening to this commercial. I'm like, I need these glasses. And then I thought, God dang it, you're so old. Like, I don't need these glasses. F that. I can brave the LED lights. I'm not going to do that. What kind of ding dong would I be if I have to get in the car and put on my whatever these LED glasses look like? They're probably bogus. But this is where we are in life. Like,
And you bought the glasses, didn't you?
I have not bought them yet. No.
Okay.
We used to be the cool podcast of young, kind of some younger, middle-aged young guys, and now we're turning into.
Well, I don't know. I've already been there. So
Tony thinks he's back with the Paulson Bros again. Tony said, "DV using a welding helmet to drive and look at his phone." I'm gonna do a show with a welding helmet on. God. Anyway, all right. Let's wrap this up.
All right, two more here. This one's you may find this one interesting. This is old man right here for sure. There's one thing I've never done for a long, long time. Eat breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. I do not eat breakfast. I don't know why it is. It's not like I'm not hungry in the morning. I just don't do it. Like I'll get a coffee and then then it's lunchtime.
Dude, are you trying to eat breakfast?
But when I say eat breakfast, just hang on, a healthy one. Like maybe a granola bar, maybe a banana. I don't want to eat a bunch of eggs and bacon every single morning, but you got to get the metabolism going, DB.
No, see, I think there's new science. When we were kids, that's what they tried to tell you.
Now where you're going to bring in this.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day is BS. You know who thought of that?
How do you know?
Mr. Kellogg started that whole thing. General Mills. It was all a conspiracy.
It can't be healthy to have a coffee and then not eat until like 1 o'clock or something.
Yeah, dude, you do the intermittent fasting thing. You eat between like 1:30 and 6:30, and that's it. You're done. That's better than you eating breakfast.
So we could morph this in. Like maybe you can bring in more science into this, and we can talk about it. How about this? Me just not waiting between coffee time and 1 o'clock lunchtime. Like doing something in there that's gonna like bring in some food into my system.
You got to be careful though, man. Because see, you're talking about sugars. You get a
no, I don't want sugars.
You know what kind of sugars in a granola bar? Most of them.
Okay, listen. You're getting in the weeds. I'm talking about healthy. So
People in the comments, help
we can come
that
up
out,
with
telling you.
we can come up with what is healthy and what is not.
Okay.
Some oatmeal or something. I don't know.
See?
Oatmeal sounds
Okay.
really hard.
God, this is getting worse.
All right.
Please end this. Put us
All right.
out.
Now this one's the most serious one I have.
We need a safe word for Tony to cut the show off.
I always have to have a like a kind of a serious one.
Yeah, you do.
So
Okay.
this is going to be a
Alright.
little bit serious. But
Mm.
I want to be this year. I want to be truer to myself, but in a way that is constructive, saying no more to people, but learn how to do that. Like learn how to be more true to yourself. So that means probably reading a book. So I'm not a big self-help guy, but maybe reading a book like that. I think DB would agree. I think a lot of times I pick the wrong times and the wrong way to be assertive. And so I want to be more assertive for myself, advocate for myself, but do it in the right way. Do it in a better way. Do it in a way that helps me, and it doesn't like it's not like Pat all of a sudden is deciding to be assertive or deciding to say no just to do it. Like I want to learn how to do that in the right way that makes me feel good about myself, but also makes me feel like, hey, I'm advocating for myself out there.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
number 3.
Firm believer in advocating for yourself.
Yeah.
You just tend to use all of your advocating points at one time. So you save them all up.
Yeah.
And then you use them all at one time, and
it kind of ruins it.
blow people's brains out figuratively.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
figuratively.
So
Like I would love if I don't think our agent Drew listens to our show, which is kind of sad, but I would love for Agent Drew to listen to this part and then recall the member guests. Like I would just
yeah.
it would be funny to hear his take on this.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, you can't let it build up. You can be assertive and stand up for yourself and learn to say no and learn to speak up, certain ways. Just spread it out a little bit. You got to
spread it out. You just got to learn how to do it in the right way. I've got to
don't always direct it to me.
Yeah, that's why I figured you'd appreciate this one.
Yeah.
But I do think that will involve maybe reading a little bit about how to do that. So
Praise
there
God.
you go.
Oh, that's
those are the
beautiful, man.
resolutions.
It's beautiful.
I
Man.
feel good about these. I'm happy with these.
Well, a couple of golf ones. There's no.
I mean, I don't know about
a couple of golf ones. All right. Well, listen, great show. Love being back in the saddle. God, I mean, I'm always grateful when the hero's over and like we're done, or the RSM because we get a break. And then like even this year, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be excited for the Sentry. I'm like ready for a longer break, but here I am, and I'm excited about it. I'm actually giddy. It's going to be a great year. We're going to have a great time. Thanks everybody for sticking with us yet another year. We are dedicated to making this year our best year ever. We want to kind of get back to our roots. I probably should have said that up top. Like we want to get back to the roots, right? We are not professional golf handicappers. We're pretty good at it, and we put a lot of work into it. But for the most part, man, we want to have a great time this year. We want to entertain you. We want to entertain ourselves. We want to have a good time and bring some laughter along the way. Some of those moments, and build the community. That's what we want to do this year. So excited to have everybody on board. Excited to have Tony on board. It's going to be a great year. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's have a great week. Bend over your bookies for the Sentry. See ya.